When I was younger, I spent many years wondering why others were ahead of me. Why some people seemed so successful, so happy, while I kept struggling just to find peace. But one day, I realized something. I wasn't living my life. I was living in the shadow of someone else's journey. You see, one of the biggest pains in life is comparing ourselves to others. It's like holding a mirror, not to see ourselves, but to see what we lack. We scroll through social media, and every picture feels like a reminder of what we don't have. Someone's vacation becomes our restlessness. Someone's achievement becomes our failure. And slowly, without even realizing it, our happiness starts depending on someone else's story. But let me tell you a story I once heard about a boy named Ethan. Ethan lived in a small village near a forest. He was kind, hardworking, and humble. But he carried one heavy burden. He always compared himself to others. When his friend did better in school, Ethan felt he wasn't smart enough. When his neighbor bought a new house, Ethan felt poor. Even when someone ran faster than him, he would say, "Why can't I be like them?" His days were filled not with gratitude, but with quiet sadness. He could not see the beauty in his own life because he was too busy staring at someone else's. One day, an old wise man, people called him Grandpa Joe, came to their village. Everyone respected him for his wisdom. Ethan went to him and said, "Grandpa, no matter how hard I work, I never feel enough. Others are always better, faster, richer, happier." The old man smiled and said, "Tomorrow morning meet me near the oldest tree in the forest. You'll find your answer there." The next day, Ethan came to the tree. Grandpa Joe was already waiting. He said, "Look around, my boy. What do you see?" Ethan looked and said, "Trees. Some tall, some short, some full of fruit, some with none." Grandpa Joe smiled. "Now tell me, if the apple tree said, 'I wish I were tall like the coconut tree,' or the coconut tree said, 'I wish I had sweet fruits like the apple,' would that make sense?" Ethan laughed. "No, that would be silly." The old man nodded. And yet, that is exactly what we humans do every day. We forget that every tree has its own role. The apple tree gives sweetness. The coconut tree gives shade and water. Each serves in its own way, and together, they make the forest beautiful. Then Grandpa Joe pointed toward a small pond nearby. Fish were swimming gracefully, and above them, a bird was flying. "Look," he said, "if that fish wishes to fly, it will spend its whole life feeling worthless, even though it can swim across the entire ocean." Ethan understood. The problem was never that he wasn't enough. The problem was that he was trying to be someone he was never meant to be. And that, my friend, is the truth of our lives too. When you compare, you disconnect from yourself. You stop noticing your own gifts. Maybe you are patient, maybe you bring peace, maybe your smile gives others hope. But how will you ever see that if your eyes are always on someone else's success? I learned this lesson the hard way. When I became a monk, I still compared, not with money or fame, but with spiritual progress. I used to think, that monk meditates deeper than me, that monk speaks wiser than me. Until one day my master said something I'll never forget. Even the sun and moon don't shine at the same time, but both light up the world when it's their turn. That day, I stopped comparing my path. I started walking it. And slowly, life became lighter. So, if you've ever felt like you'll never be as good as others, pause, breathe, ask yourself, am I walking my own path or someone else's? Because peace doesn't come from winning the race. It comes from knowing you're running your own. And when you finally stop comparing, you begin living. If a fish tries to fly, it will always feel like a failure. But when it swims, it owns the ocean, and you have your own ocean waiting. If this story touched your heart, my friend, share it with someone who needs to hear it. And before you go, take a moment to write in the comments. What is one gift in yourself that you've been overlooking? I'll be waiting to read your answer. Until next time, breathe deeply and live your own truth.